Hey, what's going on everyone? Axel here. So today, Ravenloft is finally out, the new expansion for DDO, and in this video I wanted to go over just the specifics of what is out today. We're going to go over the release notes. I'm going to give my thoughts and talk about it. And yeah, let's get started. So today is update 37. It's December 6th, 2017. Miss of Ravenloft. Was released. I heard some talk that it was going to not be released until tomorrow, but they did get it out today, which is nice. Uh, well, let me put an asterisk there. They got all like 95% of it out. There's actually still another raid as a part of this expansion that is not out yet. It's going to come really soon in a patch. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. So, the Mists of Ravenloft. Enter the Mists of Ravenloft. The entrance can be found in House Jarasco in Eberron and Evening Star in the Forgotten Realm. So, two places you can access it. There's a couple links here for basically descriptions of the expansion purchables. I went over that a few weeks ago when I did a video on the pre-purchase stuff. So you can check that out if you want to. I'll go ahead and put the link below in the description if you want to. So, what do we have with Ravenloft today? We have the Land of Barovia wilderness area, so very cool. We haven't had a wilderness area in a long time, it seems like. They've been going away from those the past few years, so it's really nice to see those come back. Those have always been one of my favorite things. 12 quests, not a bad number. I was kind of hoping for a few more, but not a bad number at all for an expansion, I don't think, assuming the quality is there. And I have not played the expansion yet. I haven't gotten a chance to today. Probably won't be able to until tomorrow, so Thursday or Friday. I actually have a new computer desk set up, which I just got in the mail today, and I'm actually going to get the rest of it in the mail tomorrow. It's coming in two pieces, so I've got to build that desk. But once I get that done, I'll be able to actually start playing. But I want to do that first, so I'll do a video giving my first impressions here. I don't know, maybe this weekend, maybe early next week. We'll have to see. But yeah, we got 12 quests, 2 raids. Like I said, the second raid is not available yet. It will come in a patch. There's new public areas and a new saga, so that's cool. And it says save the people of Barovia, stray Strahd, and restore the balance to the land. So that's cool. I know this expansion is based on a pen and paper campaign, which is really cool. You've seen that we've seen that as a theme. They've had tons of well, not tons, but they've had several pen and paper themed adventures now. They've had haunted halls, slavers, and they've had Temple of Elemental Evil. So I guess this is technically the fourth entry into that kind of line of quests. But this one is an expansion, and it's definitely more expansive than the prior ones. This is actually a whole campaign kind of area in DDO. So we've got raids, we've got a bunch of quests, and we've got crafting systems too to go along with it, which is what I'll get into now. Sentient weapons. So there's sentient weapons that allow players the opportunity to discover weapons with their own personality and customize their powers. So yeah, I'll get more into this in a second, but and I haven't used it yet on the server because this time I decided not to go to the preview server and spoil things. But I have read a little bit about it, and I did watch a little bit of the live stream today where Cordovan kind of explained it. We've got veteran status level 10, and this is really cool. Veteran status 1 and 2 in the past have been things you had to purchase, but veteran status level 10 is a new thing they're doing where you can. Veteran status 1 is you can start a new character immediately at level 4. 2 is veteran status 2 is you can start a character immediately at level 7, and now we have veteran status level 10 where you can start a character at level 10. And it's actually, instead of being something that's purchasable, it's actually free to everybody, except the catch is you can't use it all the time. It's only going to be offered as a limited duration event. And I don't know how common this is going to be, but during these event periods, you can start a character at level 10. And you even get a level 10 hireling, cleric hireling with them, which is also limited duration. It's not permanent or anything like that. But that's really cool. And obviously, looking at this, it seems to be a way where they're trying to make the new content more accessible. I believe it does start at heroic level 10, so that's why the level 10 coincides with Ravenloft. So they want to open it up. I know they don't want a situation where a new player, like there might be pen and paper players out there who see that Ravenloft is coming into DDO and they are really excited about it, and they think because Ravenloft may be one of their favorite pen and paper settings, they don't want those players to sign up as new players in DDO and not be able to not be able to play that content right away. So I think that's why it's being offered like this. And it's offered right now through, let me see, December 7th through 17th right now. And I don't know how often this will be. Hopefully it'll be fairly often that they offer this. I hope it's not just like a once a year thing, like a seasonal event, something like that. So, but we'll have to wait and see. They haven't told us yet, as far as I'm aware. Okay, a couple DDO store notes. Let's see. See if this is important. When redeeming a store code at character selection, or any character items will be delivered to the last character logged into, or if no character can be found, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there's just nothing we need to be concerned about. They're just changing a little bit in terms of how items are delivered. It looks like they're doing that just to cut down on lost items between accounts. I know that's been particularly a problem with reincarnation, and they actually address that in these notes, and we'll get to that in a second. So next is favor. In Missile Ravenloft, there's 3 tiers of favor. Tier 1 is 60, and you get blessings of a feather feat. I'm not sure what that feat is. I can't remember, or is that? I'm not sure if that's a new one, or if I'm just not remembering what that feat is. But I'm not sure. It's probably nothing great since it's tier 1. Tier 2 is 120 favor. You get a small augment bag. Okay, that's not bad. It's an augment bag at least. At least it might be something that not a lot of people have. I know everyone, of course, would have an ingredient bag. So maybe you if you don't have one already, it might be useful. But tier 3 does actually unlock the Vistani Knife Fighter for that character, but it's a per character basis. So you can't, if you want to do it on another character, you have to run through that favor again. It sounds like you can't just do it for one character and then have it unlocked for all your characters. You actually have to run through that favor with that character. So I guess they're doing that just to, to incentivize the purchase for you to actually spend money on the game, but at the same time still give you an ability to get access to that tree without spending money if you don't want to. Seems fair to me. Okay, items. Several weapon types have been added to the reward vendor when first arriving in the marketplace using veteran status 2 or 3. They are hand axe, hand wrench, dagger, blah, 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 blah. So they're just doing that because when you start at veteran status 3 at level 10, they want you to be able to have a quick weapon. That's basically all that means. So basically, if you're not aware, when you make a character, you have the option when you go through veteran status. You have the option to start in Korthos or the option to take veteran status, and if you take veteran status, it starts you in the marketplace. So that's why this note is saying that these are being added to the marketplace vendor, because that's the vendor you first pass. Kind of when you have to, right when you pop into the marketplace, basically there's a guy standing there, an NPC that you can get a weapon from. So that's all that is. Items acquired from barter boxes like the anniversary event, Night Revels, now show their proper durability and are now created with their proper durability. Okay, so just simple fix there. Nothing too big. There are 2 new statistics: missile deflection and deflection bypass. Missile deflection grants a chance to have missiles so Eldritch Blast missed you. Deflection bypass grants a chance to bypass an enemy's missile deflection. So I'm assuming, the way I'm reading this, now correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like this is something that's going to be effective. Both enemies are going to have this trait and human players are going to have this trait. So it sounds to me kind of like they're being nice about how they're wording this, but it seems like a warlock nerf to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like they added these stats for enemy monsters just for the purposes of probably nerfing warlocks a bit. Now again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to make that assumption if I'm wrong, but if there's some other tie-in that isn't just for the purpose of kind of making warlocks a little weaker, because I don't remember there being too many warlock enemies in the game that throw Eldritch Blast at you. Now there's a lot of enemy casters in the game, but I don't remember any. I don't remember there being too many warlocks throwing Eldritch Blast and stuff at you that are actually enemies. So it sounds like something that is going to affect human players more. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, next, some Festival cookies have been updated. Okay, that's nice, but not a big deal. Okay, now let's get to the section about sentient weapons. And they're kind of interesting, and I like, just on first glance, I really like what they did with them as far as the the progression system, because I was afraid that they would kind of stick to the norm, but they actually did something different. So let's get into it. Sentient weapons. Sentient weapons have their own personality and customizable powers. Here's some important information about how they work. Each sentient weapon comes with a sentient jewel that holds the personality of the weapon. The power of the weapon is contained in the sentient jewel. The jewel can be pried out of an existing weapon and attached to a new weapon of sufficient magical power. This transfers the sentience and its power level to the new magical weapon. Okay, so basically the core of the power of the sentient weapon is going to be in the sentient jewel, and this is exchangeable between different weapons. So from the way I understand this, and again, I haven't played this in game yet, probably won't get to play Ravenloft till tomorrow or the next day, but the way I'm reading this is that you can actually transfer your sentient weapon progress, essentially, the core progress is transferable. Now there's another section to this called filigree. I think filigree. I think filigree is how you say it. But there's another section of the power which I'm not sure is as transferable, but at least this section appears to be kind of transferable between different weapons. So if say you level up a sentient weapon that's an axe, maybe you want to change it to a greatsword, whatever, you'll be able to do that. It sounds like. Okay. Next it says once a weapon is slotted with a sentient jewel, the weapon can also slot sentient filigree to enhance the weapon's magical properties. As the weapon's power grows, additional filigree can be slotted up to a maximum of 7. And in a second, I'll kind of explain what this is, but it sounds like as you gain XP, you can unlock additional slots on your sentient weapon to make it more powerful. But this is things that are separate from the actual jewel, sentient jewel. Okay, most named weapons with a minimum level 20 or higher can accept a sentient jewel. So you can actually make pretty much, as far as I understand, pretty much any weapon in the game a sentient weapon. Except, I know there's a few exceptions. I heard Cordovan say today, like, I don't think you can make, for example, like Legendary Green Steel or Thunderforge sentient, but I believe most weapons you can make sentient. The power of a sentient jewel is increased by feeding it named magical items, so that's pretty cool. So basically, to level up your sentient jewel, you actually have to kind of feed it actual weapons. So that's pretty cool, because I know that me personally and a lot of other players get a lot of crap random loot they don't really want. So it sounds like a lot of these weapons you pick up, you can actually turn basically what this is doing is turning your random loot into XP for your sentient weapon, which is pretty cool. The sentient weapon can make comments to the player as the weapon is held and used. There is a gameplay tab option to turn off voice text or both. And that's pretty cool. It's flavor, but it's nice. I know when I was watching the live stream today, Cordovan, I heard basically Cordovan would feed weapons into the sentient weapon, and it would just make comments like, "Hey, great, keep feeding me," and then So and there's a lot of different comments I heard, but it's just a flavor thing. I can see it getting really annoying though, so I'm really glad they gave us an option to turn it off. Okay, each piece of sentient filigree also belongs to a set, and slotting other filigree from the set can provide a set bonus. A fully empowered weapon can hold up to 7 filigree and can provide multiple set bonuses. A weapon can only have one of each specific filigree. So filling your weapon out with filigree is going to be basically the progression here. There are sentient toolkits you can use to unslot a filigree or sentient jewel. So if you wanted to transfer it to another weapon, I think. Sentient destroyer tools can be purchased for platinum from the tools vendors throughout DDO that destroy filigree or sentient jewel to open the slot for a new piece. Let me correct myself. You can't actually transfer it. It sounds like if you want to, once you put something in a slot, it's there for good, and you can clear up that slot, but it destroys that filigree, what's put into that filigree. A player cannot destroy or unslot a sentient jewel unless all filigree have been removed from the weapon first. Okay. Feeding named items into a sentient jewel provides a sentient XP bonus as follows. So basically, the XP that the random loot or the random weapons or whatever gives to your sentient weapon when you feed it to the sentient weapon is based on the minimum level. So here it shows minimum level 1 to 20, XP equal to minimum level. 21 to 27, it adds sentient XP equal to minimum level times 5. Minimum level 28 plus items add sentient XP equal to minimum level times 10. And so you're really going to want to farm, obviously, the minimum level 28, 29, 30 items to rank up your sentient weapon as fast as possible. Cost to open filigree slots are as follows, and that kind of has a breakdown. It looks like to get it fully upgraded, it's 60,000 sentient XP. And let's see, and since assuming you're farming minimum level 30 stuff, your XP is going to be 10 times the minimum level, so that's going to be 30. Assuming you have a minimum level 30, that's going to be 30 times 10, so 300 XP per weapon. And with 60,000, let's see, so I can do some math in my head. 300 XP per times 10 is 3,000, times 100 would be 30,000, so it would be times 2 would be 200. So yeah, so if I did the math right, 200 total minimum level 30 weapons that you have to feed your sentient weapon to actually rank your sentient weapon up all the way. So 200 level 30s, of course it will be more than 200 if you have weapons that you feed it that are lower than minimum level 28. So I think that that's fairly reasonable. 200 minimum level 30s, so yeah, that's fairly reasonable, I think. So it'll take, let's say you get 3 random weapons you can feed it per quest. That's not that bad. You could probably do that in a few weeks, I would think. And there'll probably be some chest farming. I bet pretty soon we'll find out the most time efficient quests in the new content, or just minimum level 30 content, whatever the high content, to actually farm this stuff. So, but yeah, it doesn't seem unreasonable to me. Just with my quick math, it sounds fairly reasonable. Sentient filigree can be obtained from chests in Ravenloft for now and could appear in non-Ravenloft chests in the future. Higher difficulty settings have an increased chance to provide filigree. Filigree is unbound and can be traded and auctioned. Okay, so that's to be expected. I wouldn't expect it to be in any other content right now, but they'll probably do it in new content going forward. I wonder if they'll actually go back and put it in older content, or if they'll just make it a prospective project. But we'll see. I'm not too concerned about it because Ravenloft's really the only content I'm going to want to run in the near future. Sentient Jewel can be found in the Ravenloft Saga reward list. An initial jewel can also be obtained by speaking to a Vistani trader inside the Barovia Wilderness area. A jewel can also be found as a raid reward in the new raids. Okay, so there's multiple ways to get your first jewel. I'm glad that you can get a jewel immediately. It sounds like by just running through the wilderness area. There's probably a trader. I'm assuming he's just easily accessible in that wilderness area, so that's cool. I'm glad we don't have to wait until one drops. Sentient toolkits can be obtained from the same chest where sentient filigree can be found, and they can also be available in the DDO store. And I think also, let me check, I think also they mention somewhere here that you can actually buy those with platinum. Yeah, okay. So up here, I'm actually kind of glossed over this accidentally. So it sounds like toolkits. Yeah, it sounds like you can actually buy toolkits with platinum. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds from this note up here, it says sentient destroyers can be purchased with platinum from tools vendors. So that's cool. This is unlike regular jewelers toolkits, which always irked me, that those could only be bought in the store. You couldn't actually buy them with platinum. You had to either find them on the shard house, or you had to buy them from the store, and you couldn't actually buy them with the actual currency in the game, the droppable currency in the game, which always irked me a lot. I don't feel like that's something they should have been monetizing. I know they have to make money, but I felt like that was a bad choice for monetization, because it just something that's just frustrating and just feels artificial, artificially monetized. But I'm glad they're not doing that. It sounds like they're not doing that, and I'm glad to read that. Okay, items become bound to account when a sentient jewel is placed into them if the item is unbound or bound to character on equip. Okay, so that's nice. If you have an item or a weapon that's bound to character on equip and you've not yet equipped it, it will automatically revert to bound to account when you make it sentient. So Okay, that's nice. It gives you the benefit of a doubt. I could easily see this system working to make those bind to character instead of bind to character on equip. So maybe there's some weapons out there that are bind to character on equip that you can now make bound to account, and keep them as bound to account and actually equip them without fear of committing. So that's nice. Sentient weapons will not consume named items with augment slotted into them to prevent the augment from being destroyed. Augments can be unslotted using a standard jeweler's toolkit. And that's probably, I'm assuming that is a technical thing. Like, there's probably certain weapons that weren't going to work with this system. I'm just taking a shot in the dark. I don't know that for a fact. Okay. And that's probably, you know what, let me take that back. I bet the reason they're doing this is because there's probably, if they didn't do that, there's probably people who had really valuable augments in weapons, and they might accidentally throw those weapons to get eaten by their sentient weapon, and there might be people really upset about that. So that's cool that they have that safety measure built in. I bet that's why they did it, and that's actually really smart. Reincarnation, additional work has been done to correct an issue where items were sometimes lost during reincarnation, and this is what I mentioned earlier. After reincarnation, any items that the system detects have been lost will be automatically mailed back to your character, and you should not require customer service intervention. In addition, information about your issue will be automatically sent to SSG for further investigation. At this point in time, we are only aware of stacks of bolts and arrows being lost in this manner. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, there's been a long-standing issue with reincarnation. 99% of the time you can reincarnate and it's fine, and I've probably reincarnated like 20 sometimes, and I've never had this issue. But every once in a while, for whatever reason, people will reincarnate and find that like all of their items are, like, certain items are gone or lost. And I know there's been I don't know if this addresses the XP issue, but I know there's been issues where people have reincarnated and lost all of their Epic Destiny XP. It sounds like this fix is just for items that are lost. So that's good that they're finally correcting that, because it's been kind of it's been a kind of a fear with players. You know that most of the time, like 9% of the time, I don't know the exact percentage, but the vast majority of the time you can reincarnate, it's fine. But you know, in the past you've known there's always been a chance that you'll get this issue and have to deal with this, and it's nice that they're finally fixing it. I've read about this issue quite a bit, and apparently it was something really technical that took them a while to figure out. So I'm glad it sounds like they finally got a fix in here. So that's good. You can now reincarnate without fear. Yay. Okay, UI. When examining an item and the information is too tall to fit the screen, the examination panel is now scrollable. Thank God. That's annoyed me forever. Like when I've had a green steel weapon, and it's like I have like a light 2 great axe that I have. Like, you can't actually examine the whole item because there's like a million effects on it. So that's really cool. I'm glad they're doing that. Now I wish, well, okay. I'm glad that, yeah, okay, they've got that fixed. Okay. Okay, well, that's nice. Okay, augment bags and quivers. Augment bags and quivers now have a search bar. Okay, that's nice. Fix an issue where augments do not display properly when linked in chat. Okay, there is a new slider in the advanced graphics tab for options that affects overall. Okay, who cares? Miscellaneous avatars now turn off the display of their weapons when picking up locks using the device. Okay, just another avatar fix about, it looks like an attack animation. And then finally, I saw this and I thought it was really funny. One of this is like a joke note. One of the statues in the Hall of Heroes has been replaced by Byron's Scout Sword because Byron's Scout Sword is the greatest level 1 hireling ever. This is important. Though we may try, we may never reach the potential of that legendary hireling, Byron's Scout Sword. But at least now we have a monument in the Hall of Heroes so we can forever worship his greatness. Yep. So yeah, that's it for the release notes, guys. Let me know what you think if you played Ravenloft yet. If you haven't, like I said, I'm getting back into doing YouTube videos. So the plan is, as of right now, what I'm thinking is I'm going to start doing videos, like, hopefully regularly for a while. We'll see how it goes, because I am getting this new desk in, which I'm excited about, because one of the biggest reasons I haven't been making videos, now not the only reason, but one of the biggest, maybe probably the biggest reason, is because I've had some back issues where it's kind of hard for me to sit for long periods of time comfortably. So fortunately, the new desk I'm getting has a motor in it, so I can actually push a button and move it from standing to sitting, which is pretty neat. So I can actually stand up and play DDO. It's going to be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully with that new desk, it'll be easier for me to make videos and actually play the game a little bit more. So yeah, guys, again, tell me what you think about Ravenloft and everything. Let me know how you're enjoying it so far. I'll probably start playing it tomorrow, and hopefully I like it. Yeah, so guys, have fun vampire hunting, enjoy, and I will see you for the next video. Take care.